everyone, Therese here. Welcome to the first Karma cards of 2024. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It'll help boost my channel up in the algorithm so I could help spread this message out and get it to more people. So if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, I would be so grateful to you. So energetically speaking, you might still be feeling those ascension symptoms we've been talking about. Feels like forever now. And hey, did you notice I changed it up? Changed up my background just a little bit, just to try it out, just to see what it feels like. Because it's a new year, I just want to do something different. So even though it's a new year, it's the same ascension symptoms that we were going through before, and you're probably feeling them as the energy continues to increase on the planet. We're getting hit with, we got what was it? It was right after Christmas, right in that week, right after Christmas. We got that huge X-class solar flare. It was like one of the biggest we've had in at least the last 6 years, if not in a while. So we are getting that ramp up of energy. I don't know about you, but I've definitely been feeling it. Have you been feeling it? Let me know in the comments. Predominantly exhausted, like need more sleep than you ever thought you could use in your life. I find that my team lets me know that a lot of times if these upgrades are extensive or they might be really uncomfortable, they opt to have me go to sleep. My subconscious mind said, you know what, it's just easier if you do this while you're sleeping. So we go to sleep. And you might find that too. Because some of these symptoms are really uncomfortable, including especially the nausea. If you've been getting that, let me know in the comments. That's one of the worst ones people have been getting lately. But you might notice that your body is just working through these things. Maybe it's detoxing more, having more cellular turnover. So you're going to feel tired. But today is January 4th. Mars now enters Capricorn. So we're getting an increase in the Capricorn energy. And Capricorn is great, especially with goals and what you want to achieve in your life. So with Mars now entering Capricorn, we're getting a boost of energy towards our goals. So even though you might find yourself to be in that sort of eternally exhausted state where you might notice that your energy capacity seems lower than normal because of all the upgrades you're going through, you might find that you're actually getting a little bit of a bump or an increase to go after your goals right now. So we're getting a little bit more energy thanks to the planet Mars heading into our work or what we're aspiring to do in the world. And so ride that wave. If you're trying to build something right now, it's a great time to focus in on that, work on that, create a plan, because you'll have extra energy to do so. The only real downside of a Mars and Capricorn combination is that you might find that you also have more resistance to authority in your life. So for those who are in a position of authority, you might have a hard time with people following your directions. That includes anything from a boss to a parent. You might get a lot of pushback right now as people are feeling that desire to be independent or be their own boss right now. Then next week on January 11th, we will have the first lunation of the year, which will be the new moon in Capricorn. So we're going to, again, increase in this Capricorn energy, and this is also a great time to really focus in on what is the goal for the year, because the year of 2024 is definitely a year of achievement thanks to it being a 8-year numerically, and that is very much in alignment with the Capricorn energy of achievement. They both Capricorn and the number 8 are connected to karma as well, and so this is all about what you've put out there is coming back to you, and that's can be a really positive thing if you put positive energy out there, and can be not so great if you haven't been putting positive energy out there. So there's a lot of focus on what you're building and what you're putting out in the world, and that new moon coming up next week is a perfect time to really solidify those plans. Also, it's the bookend of 2024. It starts with the new moon in Capricorn, and it's going to end with a new moon in Capricorn. So it's like we're going to have sort of a set point here of what we're setting up for ourselves, and then we're going to review it at the end of the year and see if they match each other, see what the arc is. So if that sounds exciting to you, if that's something you want to work on in a group, I invite you to join us for the new moon in Capricorn Spirit Circle happening on January 11th. Here's the link to go sign up, and I'll also put that in the description below so that you can join us. So this week's message from the team is a pretty sweet one, but it also has some surprising information. So I was channeling with my team earlier today and asking them a few questions, and they really, really want you to focus on counting your blessings. That means exactly what it sounds like. Take the time to write down the things that are working out for you. You know, so much of our mind goes to what's not working, and that's just the way our default mind is programmed. When we're not in our conscious mind, when we're in that survival state, that lizard brain, it naturally looks for what isn't working in our environment. It's a problem solver. It wants to figure out, okay, what's not in alignment so that I can figure out what I need to focus on to get it into alignment. And although I understand its function for survival, it's not a healthy mind state to stay in all the time, and yet you might find that you hang out there more than you want. And the way to counter that is to literally count your blessings. There are things that are working out in your life right now, but we tend not to give it too much thought when they're working out, because again, that default lizard brain is just like, good, it's working. I don't have to pay attention to it. I can focus on what's not working. But when we're continuously focusing on what's not working, then we start to think of our life as not working. And this is not a good mental state for us to be in, especially now as our abilities to manifest continue to increase and get more rapid. And my team says they will continue to become more rapidly, you'll begin to more rapidly manifest the closer and closer we get to the event. So to a solar flash, to sort of our big graduation moment, your manifesting ability is going to continue to increase. And when we're not conscious and we're letting that default thinking keep going, and we're looking at our life and we're saying, well, this doesn't work and that doesn't work and nothing's working over here, we're actually increasing what doesn't work in our life. We are no longer really using that to create survival in our life as it was meant to be used, and now we're actually creating problems because it's hyper-focused on problems. And so you kind of might notice that if you're really concentrating on what doesn't work, it's like it snowballs on you and you feel like nothing is working. And that's just not true. There are things that are working, and it's time for us to redirect our mind to what does work. And so we want to count our blessings and literally grab a sheet of paper, write, what's working for me, or counting my blessings across the top, and literally start writing down all the things that are going well, right? Whether it's you got to work early, or everyone's getting along today, or I got some money, or I got, something came in that I was expecting and I wanted, or it came sooner than I expected. All these little things that are working out for you, it's time for us to really direct our attention at them and keep a running total. And we want to do this for two reasons. One, because where our attention goes, the energy grows. So the more we focus on what is working, the more we will create what is working. And the second part is our left hemisphere is the logical side of our brain. And that's the part that's usually connected to problem solving as well. And it doesn't necessarily believe that things are getting better unless you offer it proof. It will accept logical proof. So if you write it down and you acknowledge that something happened, the left hemisphere will accept that information and agree with you that, okay, that is happening. And it's a way to sort of counter what's not working. And this isn't to say that we can't focus on what to improve in our life, because of course you can create more and you can improve the quality of your life by adjusting behaviors or patterns or circumstances so that you can experience a more aligned life. But we do want to be careful if we're just letting it run rampant and deciding that everything is broken. Have you ever looked around your house and you noticed a cupboard, right? Like the hinges on the cupboard were coming loose. And so you're like, I need to fix that. And as you're looking at that, then you notice that the handle on the drawer is also loose. Or, oh, right, the little felty feet on the bottom of your chairs are missing. And then suddenly it feels like a snowball, right? You're just looking around and it's project, problem, everywhere you look. And that has to do with that side of the brain that's looking to increase your well-being in its own unique way, but it's focusing on all the negatives. By creating that blessings list or how you're winning list and tracking it more, you're going to open your reticular activator, which is what got activated when you were noticing what was wrong. See, that area starts to expand in the mind, and it's expanding your consciousness, going, okay, what other data matches what you just saw? This cabinet is broken, this drawer is broken, that thing is broken, the printer is broken, whatever. It's going to start accumulating or expanding to allow all that data in. When you focus on how you're winning or how you are blessed in your life, that activator, the reticular activating system, is going to open again, but this time it's going to look for more proof of how things are working. And life is going to line it up for you because you're going to start manifesting more wins as you focus on how you're winning. And so they tell me there is no win that is too small. Even if it's I got up on time, that counts. I had a nice cup of coffee in the morning, that counts, right? I got to snuggle with my cat, that counts. All of that might seem silly to write down such trivial things, but it is expanding your mind to look for what's working. And as you're doing that, you're creating more of what's working. It's creating the ability to sense the opportunities right in front of you that maybe you would have missed if you were focused on what isn't working. And on another note, my team says this is one of the ways that your team actually is responding to you. Now, a lot of people ask me, because I have such a communicative process with my team. It's like I'm talking to a group of people and I'm listening to them. And I know that some people feel like, well, I want that from my team. I want to hear them. I want to have these conversations. And, sometimes feel like if they're not getting that, then their team's not responding to them. They're just ignoring them. And that can't be further from the truth. This method that I've developed for hearing my team, it started because I started talking to my team. I just started talking to them and allowing myself to believe that they were speaking to me. And I know that might sound like, well, how do you know it's your team then? Because I know it's my team because the information I get is fairly accurate and it's consistently accurate. And so I know it's them, but not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, I was just as unsure as some of the people who I know who are starting out trying to create a stronger connection with their team. And so my team was saying, one of the ways that's easiest for us to help you is to respond to what you're asking for in any way we can. We are there for you. We are having your back. And as soon as you ask for our assistance and our help, we're responding. They said a lot of times, though, people aren't really noticing. It's like if something is going well and it's a small thing, it just kind of is, it's sort of discounted as, well, of course it went well. But there was support behind it. And it's one of the easiest ways that your team can communicate with you is to show you through action that they are supporting you and got your back and helping align energy for you. So one of the benefits of really tracking what's working and what's winning is you'll really see how your team is supporting you in energy and helping to create that alignment. Now, it's still up to you. You're still the creator and the power source in your life, but they're the supporting energy, and they're going to help make this as easy as they can. They're going to help in whatever way is allowed for them to help and allowed for them to usher in the energy that makes you feel like you're aligned and that you're aligned and that things are working out in your favor, and that is them. So the more you're acknowledging what's working out, the more you're forging a connection with your own team. And if you want to have a conversational quality with your team, I strongly encourage you to talk to them as if they're in the room, and imagine that you hear what they're saying back to you. And the more that you develop that, the stronger the connection you're making. Because what really stands in the way between someone having a dialogue with their team in spirit and one who doesn't is belief. And sometimes to get over that belief, you just have to choose to believe it. You just have to choose to go, okay, this is happening. And then you have opened up an energetic channel in yourself to allow it to happen. So if you want to have more conversational energy with your team, that's what I would suggest. Now, I got a really interesting message from them today about the solar flash event. I asked them, is there going to be a solar flash event? Because that's all, what we're expecting. And they said, yes, there will be a solar flash event. You can tell our sun is priming for this big energy. And then they said something really interesting. They said that the event has already happened in a spiritual sense. We have already transitioned over, and now we just have to play it out consciously, which I thought was really interesting. And I feel like it's probably been said by other channels and mediums out there that this event has already happened, but they wanted to reconfirm that for you, just in case you're holding your breath or you're wondering if we're actually going to get it or not. We already got it. We did it. Energetically and spiritually, we have created this event. It has occurred, and we have graduated, but we still have to play it out consciously. That's part of what we're here for, is to go through the experience of it. It's not enough for it to just have happened on an inner level. We want to experience it on the outer level. We're here on this plane to have experiences. So we will experience it consciously as well, and that is eminently coming. So with all that, let's see what this week's karma cards have in store for us. Right, if you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks of cards here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what is the message you have for us this week? And I've got 2 sets of answers. A set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel, what is the message you need this week? Are you looking for action related guidance, or are you looking to see how things resolve? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for January 4th through January 11th, which just happens to be the new moon. And the flavor of this reading, we've got Venus. So very much about counting blessings and cherishing and loving energy in the sign of Capricorn, which is where the sun is currently at, and Mars just moved to, and the moon will soon be joining us here. So that's the goals, that is the ambition, that is the drive to seek. In the first house of self-expression. So this is about how we see ourselves and what we're projecting out about ourselves into the world. All right, so for those choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to cherish your goals immediately. Well, that makes sense. I mean, I love it. I love it when they do that. Count your blessings, cherish your goals, do it right now. Like I said, this is the perfect time to really think about what are your goals? Where do you want things to go? What are you trying to create in the world? What are you trying to put out? It's the year of karma. What good energy are you going to put out in the world? We've got more than enough energy to focus on it right now, and the universe is just trying to tell you you're in the zone. So what good energy are you putting out in the world? Think about it, write it down, and count those blessings. Mental action at this time. Enjoy the day-to-day reality of the way you project yourself. So again, I love this because self-image is actually core to creating change in our life. And this is something that is so, it's actually, we innately do it, but we're not always conscious that we're doing it. And so, for example, it's like, you've heard the phrase, dress for the job that you want. Well, also dress for the life that you want, right? If you don't think how you're presenting yourself is reflecting back to you. It absolutely is, because it is the silent way you communicate with not only the outside world and what other people perceive, but also what you perceive. You're always interacting with yourself. And so when you are thinking about, okay, what's the life I want and what do I want to project? What am I giving out in the world, right? If I'm a positive person or I want to project positivity, what am I going to do to help myself feel like that is happening? Like, you're probably going to shower regularly. You're probably going to, want to have color in your life. You're going to want to, feel like you're presenting your best self because it helps you feel positive. Whereas, if you didn't shower for weeks and your hair was greasy and you're always in sweats or pajamas, you might not feel like you're projecting the most positive energy. So they do correlate and they do have an effect. And the most interesting part is the greatest effect they have is actually on your own subconscious mind. So not so much on what you think others are seeing, but what you think others are seeing, what you are thinking about yourself, and then projecting out as this is what someone else sees. It's more simple than I just made it sound, but it is a great time to consider, what am I putting out in the world? What am I saying right now? So we want to be thinking about that on a regular basis. What am I putting out in the world? Because this year, it really has an impact because it's that year of the karmic return. And again, karma is not a bad thing. It's just what you're putting out is what you're getting back. So if you're trying to put out friendliness, if you're trying to put out warmth, if you're trying to put out joy, you're going to get that back. So we want to look at how we're presenting that package. And we're going to find that it increases whatever energy we're intending to put out. That's why when you dress for the job you want, like if you wanted a very serious corporate job, you would dress in a very serious corporate way, because not only does it project that intention out, but it makes you feel very serious and corporate when you do it. Physical action at this time. Charm, art, and beauty are the way to use the most business-like way and do it on your own. This is one of those statements where it feels like a contradiction, because on one hand, Venus is saying to us the most playful approach is actually going to be the most powerful approach, right? So we've got Venus talking about playfulness and Capricorn talking about business-like, right? So this is the most playful approach is the most powerful approach to do it on your own. So again, when it comes to what you're projecting or what you're putting out there, there is no set path. I mean, you can find, for example, I love looking at the style guides that people create of like their core aesthetics, right? You've got the dark academia core and the cottage core and the French girl core, all these things that people put out there. They're very fun to look at and very inspiring to look at. But at the end of the day, those things might feel like you're putting on a costume if it's not true to you. So your aesthetic or how you're projecting yourself or what you're trying to say, have fun with it and know that there is no right answer. There's no right way for you to show up in the world. It's the way that feels the most authentic, and in terms of authenticity, the most aligned to who you're trying to be in the world. If you're trying to be super serious and super polished, then you might not wear a hat and like a cute sweatshirt on camera, because that might not feel the most aligned, right? You might want to do something where you feel really polished when you show up. But you'll find that when you start taking how you're projecting yourself seriously, you don't end up being a cookie cutter of some kind of fashion icon, or that you change your entire wardrobe to fit something. No, instead what you realize is, what do I want to put out and how does that look to me? What feels aligned with that? And you start looking at your life in that way. Like, how do I go to the grocery store, and how do I, when I do buy something, am I thinking about what message am I sending out, or am I getting it just because it's a necessity that needs to be there? It's not so much about change your life and totally make yourself over. It's instead, how do I get more aligned? How do I show up the way I feel on the inside? And when you start paying attention to it and lining up the outside with the inside, you feel even more potent and magnetic when you do it, just because there's consistency, and how it reads to other people is more authentic. They just see you as more authentic, and it's not what you're wearing. It's not just how you're acting. It's that there's alignment between the inner and outer world, and people really feel that, and so do you. All right, now let's look at outcomes for Venus in Capricorn in the first house of self-expression. The spiritual outcome at this time is the attraction of dedication to achieve who you are. So at this point in time, it's so easy to do this work. It's so easy to find your authenticity. And again, I'll repeat, authenticity is the lining up or the alignment of who you are on the inside with what you project on the outside. And so hopefully this really opens up for you. And if you're nervous about doing it, if you're nervous about showing who you really are, you do it in small ways. It's not about a big production or a dramatic change. It's simply like if you feel like, for example, that you're actually kind of a fiery personality, right? But you might come across as very demure or shy or collected on the inside. But underneath all of that is a fire that wants to come out. So you might do something like start wearing red lipstick, or, you know, if you like to put your hair in ponytails, you use a red scrunchie or something that would emulate fire. You know, you have a jacket that's kind of orangey in color and you start wearing that more because it starts to encourage that energy out of you. Now, this might seem materialistic, but it really does have an impact. Color has a huge impact on our energy and our attitude. And like I said, it's the subconscious mind that's responding to it, because as you wear that lipstick or the jacket, that fiery part of yourself feels like there's a space for me to come forward now. I am not obscured. Any woman who's, you know, put on red lipstick, you know, you're like, suddenly I feel very powerful and present with this energy here. It's like I have a space to express it. And so no matter how small the gesture, if you're trying to bring a part of yourself forward, try adding it to your ensemble. Try adding it to some color to your clothes or your makeup in some way, or jewelry or something that allows that part that you're like, it's in there and I just want to express it and I don't know how. Give it a little space and watch it just naturally come forward in you. Mental outcome at this time. Pleasure from focusing on your desires. That's pretty straightforward. So as you allow yourself to think about, what do I want to put out in the world, right? What do I want to put out in the world? And you allow yourself to have fun with the expression of it. You're helping to open a channel in energy. I know for some people that focusing on the exterior can feel really superficial. But again, the one who's experiencing you, physical you the most, is you. And so when you're engaging with yourself and you're allowing yourself to have fun and to express some part of you that you might feel is dormant or hidden away, what you're telling yourself as you express it in some form is that it's okay for this to be seen now. And that is a very powerful message to give yourself. And oftentimes it can be the difference between having a moment of, let's say, courage, to feeling like a courageous person simply because you're allowing it to be expressed in some way. It's why things like those mantra bracelets or necklaces are powerful, because it's a powerful reminder to your subconscious mind, this is an active principle. But you don't need just words to do it with. You can do it, like I said, with everyday items that you already have, and you can look at them and say, you know, what does this hat mean to me? This hat means to me, like, for example, it's playful, it's fun, it's got, like I said, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got little sequins on it. So it reminds me that you can be subtle and playful at the same time. And that always kind of comes through in my personality, that little bit of playfulness And as I engage with things like what I'm wearing right now, it helps me feel that way. And so you can do this for yourself too, with what you have right now. And, this is also a good time of year to start something fresh. So if you find that you're holding on to things or you're using things and you're like, you know what? I don't know about you, but I have a hard time throwing away like shirts and t-shirts and leggings and stuff. They often get turned into pajamas. When they get a little hole in them, they tend to stay with me for a while. And at first it's fine and it's okay, but I like to go through it and ask myself, does it feel good to wear this? Like if I was wearing this and someone knocked at the door, would I feel okay? Okay opening the door in this, or would I be embarrassed? And that's usually my test of whether or not that thing is actually still in alignment with me and worth keeping, or if it's time to let it go. So it's a good time to kind of look around your space and look for things that you feel like are a good reflection of the qualities that you wish to embody. And maybe you're already embodying them, and if so, look at your wardrobe, look at your the things that you're using in your life, the way you're presenting yourself in the world, and say, does this match who I am? Like, am I showing people who I am? Or do I often get comments like, oh, you were so much more fun. You looked really serious at first, notice those comments. Or maybe, it was hard to take you seriously, but getting to work with you, I see how dedicated and serious and committed to this you are. These comments are just information to help you know that maybe there's just a little mismatch in inner world and outer world, and there's something that you can do to tweak it. And again, if you're already comfortable and you feel in full alignment, you're already doing it. And this message really isn't for you. But if you're in that space where you're like, there's more that I want to be seen and I don't know how to put it out there, putting it out there in a nonverbal form of expression is a great way to, again, open the channel and allow that particular attribute, some energy, to live in your world. And the more you do it, the more you're opening the channel for that energy to flow through. Physical outcome at this time: good times resulting from the rules imposed by your actions. Again, you get to make the rules about how this works. There are no rules outside of you. I know that there are plenty of trends we can follow or things that we can do, and there's plenty of suggestions and guidance in the world, but you're the one who sets the rules. And so this isn't about telling you how to express yourself, but reminding you that when you allow yourself to express yourself, when you think about what could I do to really align to myself in an authentic way, then you're going to find that more of that energy comes forward and you create more of a match in your outer world to who your inner world is. You really start bringing that outer world into alignment with who you already are. And so this is just a call to have fun and play with expressing yourself and enjoying yourself. And again, counting the blessings in your life. There's so many good things happening. And as you're feeling those good things, let yourself express it in some way. Even if it's just by smiling more, that sends quite a powerful message to the outside world and to your subconscious mind. And with that, I'm sending you so much love. You're beautiful, and have a great week.